Hey guys, I'm back with my new video and this talks about cloud technology, a basic overview. I have been talking to a lot of people and about cloud and a lot of more things, and there seems to be some kind of confusion on the basic concept that establishes cloud. In this video, I have tried to oversimplify the concept and clear the picture a little more than what it might have already been to you. So, talking about cloud as a terminology, cloud can be explained as a terminology for using another services over the internet. I'll try to detail it a little more. Think about a simple computer that is located somewhere else and you are accessing or utilizing it over the internet. That, on a high level, is the concept of cloud. But in reality, it's not just one computer. There are multiple server computers that are hosted in some data center and are used by individuals over the internet for various services like storing data, using databases, networking, accessing developer tools, and a lot more. You name it, and cloud engineers have already established it to be used by individuals over the internet. Cloud was launched a while ago and it became a success. Why? Well, there certainly have to be some of its benefits that have caused it to become a major success. Some of the most important benefits of cloud and that actually are the fundamental benefits of cloud are high availability, fault tolerance, scalability, and elasticity. In my next videos, I have tried to explain these concepts with the help of some, simple examples. So talking about high availability, consider that a user has stored some of his data over his home computer. But when he goes to office or he goes to some other place, obviously this person cannot access their files from their office laptop in office or wherever they are from their computer or laptop or any other high-end device. So what do you do? At this point of time, if the user has stored their data over cloud in their computer, then they can certainly access it via their mobile or their laptop anywhere just using the internet and the username and password for the cloud application they are using. So high availability is basically, in simple terms, accessing your information, files, data from anywhere with the help of internet. Coming to the next benefit, which is fault tolerance. Well, user has stored some of his data in his home computer and say that the computer has an issue. It broke or there was some electrical failure and the system hard drive fused and everything is gone. Now if the user has stored his data only on this particular home computer, then he's never going to get back his data because his hard drive or his computer has entirely broken. But if the same user has stored his or her data or files over the cloud using some application like AWS or Azure or many others, then he can certainly get back his files and data using some other device, just going to the application and using his username and password that would do the security authentication and get back all his data to him. Talking about scalability, it is one major factor these days. So think you're, a few people in an organization and you're using a certain limit of storage, for example. But, as the business grows, the storage increases, there are more requirements, people increase, and you tend to have, more people, you need more resources. So in this scenario, if you're organizational data is over the cloud, then it's very simple to scale your storage, or for that matter for any application use. You can get more users to log into their developer tools, or you can get more storage increased if your people are increasing, your organization is growing at minimal cost, which otherwise would have cost in millions. So talking about scalability, cloud gives an easy way to scale your resources, which are hosted by a third party, and hence decreases your headache to get things done in your organization. Talking about elasticity, well, elasticity is basically, you know, if you can grow, then you can shrink as well. In my last slide, I talked about scalability. So if you're growing, you need to scale up. But what if you are decreasing your data, or if you're reducing your resources, then how to come back? So cloud basically provides a benefit of elasticity as well. Assume that I'm getting a lot of medias on my WhatsApp, and I'm storing that on my phone, which is going to cloud, and my cloud storage has increased. So it keeps on scaling more as in when I keep on adding media to it. But one day I decide to delete it. I don't want to keep the extra stuff that is not, of any purpose to me. So I go to my cloud account and delete a lot of media, which, considerably brings the storage down. What happens in this scenario is that this storage that has come down will not cost me extra now. In case I was not able to bring this down, then I might be paying for extra storage, which I am not at all using. So elasticity is another important feature when you talk about big organizations, large amounts of data, and it definitely increases or decreases the cost. So anything that has benefits has some disadvantages as well. Talking about cloud, yes, there are disadvantages, but they definitely are less than the advantages. Talking about disadvantages of cloud, the major ones are its downtime, the security and privacy, and the vulnerability to attack as we access cloud over the internet. Talking about downtime, this may be one of the worst disadvantages of cloud. No cloud provider, even the very best, would claim immunity to service outages. Cloud computing systems are internet based, which means your access is fully dependent on your internet connection. Unlike any other hardware, cloud platforms themselves can fail for one or for thousands of reasons. Moreover, if your internet connection is not working well, you cannot access your data, and hence, a lot of your work might suffer. Now, this is a rare scenario these days because of the high availability of internet and its facilities, but definitely there can be many more reasons for which cloud platforms can themselves fail. Talking about the next disadvantage is of security and privacy. So now any discussion involving data must address security and privacy. We all know that, especially when it comes to managing sensitive data of organizations that are basically most of the time using cloud. On personal basis also, the images or the videos that you are storing over the cloud are your personal data, and you do not want any other person to intervene in your space. Hence, security and privacy become a very important factor to talk about. We must not forget the code space that happened to EC2 AWS console, which was hacked and the data was eventually deleted, forcing the company to close the doors with cloud AWS forever. Of course, your cloud service provider is going to be using services, policies that will safeguard your data and underlying hardware infrastructure of a deployment. But you need to understand that no system is perfectly secure, and you'll have to carefully weigh all the risk scenarios. While there are certain best practices for minimizing the security and privacy risk, which can be, you know who is supposed to have access to each resource and service, limit the data access based on the user context. So we have a lot of services, for like, you have AD services, you have a lot of those in your cloud services as well, where you can actually limit your data access. You can take a risk based approach and extend the security to your own devices and add intelligence to your network protection. So these are a few things that you can actually bring into your infrastructure to minimize the risk of security and privacy. Sorry, to minimize the risk of breaching security and privacy. Coming to the third and one of the very important risks that you have with the cloud is vulnerability to attacks. We all know that cloud is over the internet, so it becomes quite easy to hack it. In cloud computing, every component is potentially accessible from the internet, and nothing connected to internet is perfectly secure, and even the best teams have suffered severe attacks and security breaches in the past. So, but since cloud is built as a public service and it's easy to run before you learn to walk, no one at AWS or Azure checks your administration skills before granting you an account. All it takes is your valid credit card, and hence you're actually vulnerable to attacks. And again, the previous slide stuff comes in that your data might be at the risk of breaching security and privacy. Some of the best practices that can help to reduce the cloud attack can be identifying the threats, patching your devices, proactively protecting your information, automating the security, and keeping some major compliance controls on your data, integrating the prevention and response strategies into security operations, discovering the rogue projects with audits, and authenticating the identities. Now, authenticating identities is a very, very, very important factor and is a must that you should get into your environment. But even after a few disadvantages, cloud environment has immense potential for business models. As the platform matures, the further economics of sale and betterment, its reliability and security will improve, and further the cost will come down and make it easily accessible for everybody. So guys, this was all I had in my overview for cloud. To connect with me, you can reach out to me at techgirl23591@gmail.com. And in this video, I have tried my best to give you a high-level overview in the most simplified manner. For any suggestions and feedbacks, you can reach out to me. And tada, thank you for now.